Hey everybody, my name is RG Long and I am a writer of epic fantasy novels. And I have been writing for a while, and honestly, I thought that the world needed something just a little bit more. And also, I don't like free time, apparently. So I decided that I was going to throw something out to the world, and I'm super excited to let you know about this experiment that I am trying to do for my readers, the ones who read my novels, the ones who enjoy epic fantasy books, want to know a little bit more about me, about what's going on in the world of a part-time fantasy author and a full-time everything else. So I'm going to be starting something that I want to call the Epic Fantasy Podcast. Real excited about this, real excited to get it going. I have a couple things that I'm trying to do. First, going to try to see if I can make them on Facebook Live so that you guys can interact with me a little bit, ask me some questions. I'm also going to be trying to put this on Spotify and iTunes, as well as this video that we're watching right here on YouTube, so you can watch it later. And so, a couple quick things about me, just to let you know, if you're a reader of mine, a little bit about who I am. First off, this is my beautiful family. I have been married now for almost 12 years. I have three wonderful, beautiful daughters who are going to be 9, 7, and 5. This is all of us in our Easter best. Really great. Honestly, my wife is fantastic. Her name is Becca, and she married a super nerd. So not just like a little bit of a nerd, like a big nerd. She is a wonderful and amazing and an athlete, and is never really big into fantasy. Whereas when I was little, I got started on a video game called Final Fantasy. Well, it's 6, but at the time it was on Super Nintendo. It was Final Fantasy 3, and I was hooked from the beginning. And that started me on my journey, learning about all things epic fantasy. And on this journey, I'm going to explain a little bit about what inspired me in my epic fantasy journey. Some of it was video games. It's things that you really think about these games that go on for 20, 30, 40, 60, 70 hours. It gets pretty epic after a while. So my first foray into video games on an epic scale was with Final Fantasy VI. And then also, I definitely started playing a fantasy tabletop game called Warhammer. This was a big deal because there was a lot of lore, a lot of stuff to learn, and it was right up my fantasy alley. My friends and I started doing this, and we absolutely loved it. It was something that was epic in scope because of all these little tiny figures that you could get and paint, and I really loved it. And it was also wild. I was an Empire player because I really enjoyed like playing on the side of the men, like the common guy who would fight for good, right? This was something that I really enjoyed, and so this was another part of me taking my journey into learning how to be like just a big old nerd who enjoyed epic fantasy. And then kind of like one of the nails in the coffin was when I discovered this really cool program called RPG Maker. RPG Maker was where I could make my own video games. And with making your own video games, you can make it like a Final Fantasy, which to me was amazing, but you could tell your own story. See where I'm going here? When I found out that I could tell my own story, I really enjoyed writing down stories. It's something that I felt like I really loved doing. And so the more that I did this, the more that I played video games, the more that I played Warhammer, the more that I would experiment with RPG Maker, the more that I thought, oh man, wouldn't it be cool if I wrote down my own story? I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that as we get to it. But if you don't know, this is my book that I have written here. It's a book called Sword of Rune, and it's a book that I am really proud of. It's on Amazon. Would love for you to get it, to see it, to read it. And I want to explain a little bit about how that came into being, why I wanted to write this book, and as you saw in the pre-roll that I'll be showing you, I didn't want to write just one book. I wanted to write an epic series, and so I decided I was going to write a 15-book series. The 11th one releases tomorrow. So really excited about sharing with you, my readers, a little bit of my journey, what I go through on a week-to-week basis, and hopefully connecting with you and giving you a chance to connect with me. on the Epic Fantasy Podcast. So if this is something that you're excited about, would love for you to tell me down in the comments down below. Let me know about that. Also, you can find me on Facebook, on Instagram, and Twitter at RGLongAuthor. Would love to connect with you there. And if you need to hear from me or want to email me a question that you'd like for me to answer about a book, about why I write, about where I get my inspiration from, you can send me an email at epicfantasypodcast@gmail.com. Super excited for this project. Super excited to hear from you and let you know about what's been going on. So thanks so much for listening. Going to keep it short today. As far as introductions go, if you have any other questions about me or what's going on, would love to hear them. But thank you so much. And hey, this is going to be one cool journey. So as I tell my readers, and I'm telling you, enjoy the journey. We'll talk to you later.